Welcome back to Young Blossom. My name is Jonah. I come to you today shirtless because I am officially 3 weeks post-op from top surgery. It still is kind of difficult for me to lift my heavy camera and set up my tripod, so I really do apologize for the fact that I haven't made a video talking about my surgery yet, but I plan to go over everything up until this point in this video. You're probably looking at this video and you're like, holy shit, this is much longer than any other Young Blossom video, and you're probably correct. This is probably gonna be a long video, so maybe grab a refreshment or a cup of coffee or a snack or something and just like relax, because I'm gonna talk about my top surgery experience and everything that's happened up until this point. Like I said, I am 3 weeks post-op today. My top surgery was on January 24th with Dr. Clifford King in Madison, Wisconsin. My mom and I went up the night before my surgery, so we went up January 23rd and we stayed in the hotel. And I was really excited that night. I was a little bit nervous, but mostly excited. Like, I had the good kind of butterflies that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I felt like a kid going to sleep on Christmas Eve night. I took a shower that night and I put on the anti-nausea patch I was prescribed, and it just went behind my ear. So I put that on the night before to control nausea for the next day. And I had to stop eating at midnight, so I had a little snack at like 11:45. I think I had an applesauce and a Cliff Bar. And then I could drink water up until 3:15. So I set an alarm clock for 3 o'clock, chugged a whole bunch of water, and then I was just about to go to sleep and it was like 3:11 and I was like, I should probably get another drink of water. So I took another big drink of water. We had to be to the hospital at 6:15 for a check-in, and my surgery was approximately gonna be at like 7:30, but I mean, it was around that time. So I had to be there at 6:15 for check-in and then start on my pre-op stuff. I got my little bracelet with my name on it, and they misspelled my first name. It was Jona, completely forgot the H, which they even asked me for a correct spelling of my name before they gave me my bracelet, and I said Jonah, and they still spelled it wrong on my bracelet, which was whatever. I mean, I was like, geez, you ruined my sentimental souvenir. We waited in the waiting room for a little bit, and eventually a nurse came, and my mom and I went back for pre-op stuff. They had me change into a hospital gown and some like compression like socks, and then I had to pee in a cup. I took a anti-anxiety medication as well as a pain medication. And then they hooked me up to an IV and they started giving me some electrolytes and good stuff like that. I had like 1,000,001 doctors and nurses and whatever come in and ask me all the same questions, like in different ways. So after that point, then Dr. King came in and he marked up my chest and like got everything ready, and he addressed any last minute concerns for me, which was really nice. And then the nurse was like, oh, we're gonna give you some like chill out medication in your IV right now, so that'll help you relax a little bit. And I was like, cool, awesome, possum, awesome. After that point, they were like, okay, well, we're gonna get ready and wheel you back now. And I was like, okay, coolio. I don't know if it was a combination of like the medications they gave me and the fact that I was exhausted because I didn't sleep much because I was so excited, nervous, but I didn't even make it to the operating room. Like, I was out, and the next thing I knew, I was like waking up like slowly in recovery, and I was in a little room with like the curtains and stuff. It didn't really occur to me that I could ask what time it was, but I wanted to know what time it was so bad because I knew my surgery was supposed to take like 3 to 4 hours, and then it would like probably take an hour for me to like come around, like I'd be in recovery for a little while. And my surgery started at like 7:30, so I was like trying to figure out what time it was, but I couldn't figure out what time it was. And I saw this like round clock on the wall, like across the hallway, like I could see it through the curtains, and I stared at it for so long trying to figure out what time it said, but I couldn't figure it out, and I just kept staring at it and staring at it and staring at it. I was like, what does that say? Like, I was really disoriented, but I also didn't have my glasses on, which I have terrible distance vision if I don't have my glasses on, so I'm like trying to see what this clock says, and I'm just like squinting at it. And I must have exhausted myself from trying to figure out what time it was because I knocked myself out. And then when I woke back up again, I was like, I really need some water. And the nurse was like, okay, well, we can't give you water, so I will spoon feed you some ice chips. So she spoon fed me a lot of ice chips because I was very thirsty. Later on in the day, we actually found out that the reason why I had such bad dry mouth wasn't just because I just had surgery and didn't have any liquids since like 3 a.m., but it was actually because it was a side effect from the nausea patch that I had super bad dry mouth, which I mean, it makes sense, but like we did not put that together, and like I'm over here like so thirsty. Once I was able to drink water, I literally couldn't stop. My mouth was so dry all the time. Eventually I was wheeled to a temporary room where I met up with my mom again. I really don't remember much from that like whole move, but apparently that happened. I was really disoriented for a while. We got to the temporary room, I want to say at like 2 p.m. and I like watched some TV, but I was just so out of it. And I remember like at one point I looked over at my arm and there was like this orange stain on it from the stuff that they like put on my chest like in surgery, and I was like, oh my god, Mom, I can't believe they turned my arm into Donald fucking Trump. I literally said that. I couldn't stop drinking water. Anytime a nurse would come in, I'm like, hey, can I get more water? Can I get more water? Can I get more water? Luckily, I had a catheter in, which I was really nervous about to begin with, but I'm so thankful that I had that catheter because there's no way I would be able to get up to keep up with going to the bathroom with how much water I was drinking. I had such bad dry mouth. Like, literally, they had to empty my huge catheter bag twice because I drank so much water. On the plus side, that patch worked. I didn't get nauseous at all while I had that patch on. It was really nice. Anyway, then Dr. King came in and he checked everything over and he said that surgery went really well, that he's happy with how everything went, and he checked for hard swelling on the top of my chest, like kind of just pressed on it. And then after that point, like several other times, like probably every 1 to 2 hours, a nurse would come in and also check under my bandages for hard swelling. I constantly had nurses coming in and checking on me and checking on my pain, and they would also check my blood pressure. Speaking of blood pressure, like I had these things that were around my calves that would like squeeze my calves one at a time, and then like it would hold and then it would release and then it would do the other leg. And that was supposed to prevent clotting and like promote healthy blood flow and that kind of thing. They put those on before my surgery, and at first it was like, ooh, this is kind of nice. Like I feel like I'm in like some kind of weird like spa or something, getting a fucking massage. And it was nice at first, but I had those on the entire time I was at the hospital until probably 2 hours before I was discharged. I was so irritated. Like I felt like I couldn't sleep because I was so irritated by these fucking leg cuffs. And the noise of it, like it reminded me of when I used to live at my mom's house and my dog would sleep on my bed, because my dog is a huge snorer. This machine sounded exactly like that, except for it was squeezing my legs all the time. And I could feel how sweaty my legs were underneath of it. It was so uncomfortable. Thankfully, I was on top of my pain meds and everything was going well, and I wasn't really in a lot of pain other than just being like super annoyed by those leg cuffs. And I don't know why, but I had kind of like anticipation anxiety, like about going to my new room, because I was still in the temporary room for quite a few hours after my surgery, and I just wanted to get to my permanent room for the night or whatever so that I could like get comfortable and like get something to eat and like just, you know, turn in for the night. But we were waiting and waiting and waiting, and every time we would ask about when we would be moving to our room, they would be like, oh, well, we're getting it ready, we're getting it ready, we're getting it ready, whatever. And they never gave us any definite answers, and it was getting to be like 6:30 p.m. and I still wasn't in my room for the night. And I'm like, hey, I really want to order my dinner, but like I don't want to order it to this room if I'm going to be moving to a new room soon. So like, please just figure this out because I'm really anxious right now. So finally, around like 7 p.m., the nurse was like, okay, well, we're going to get ready and move you soon so I can order your food for you and have it sent to the new room. And I'm like, awesome, cool, thanks. My room for the night was really nice, and there was like a recliner next to the bed that was like super comfortable and everything, and my mom ended up sleeping next to me that night. She was originally going to stay in the hotel that we had, but she decided that it would be easier for my discharge in the morning if I was, like, if I had her there, like, when I was ready, because basically they told me I could be discharged once I was able to like get up and go to the bathroom on my own. Moving rooms was really difficult. Like I hadn't been up out of bed yet and my legs felt like they didn't work. I was trying to be really careful because I had my IV tube to worry about, and I also had my catheter tube to worry about, so I'm like walking really slow to try to get to my next bed, and like I like sat down in the bed and I like tried to put my feet up, and it was just like so difficult for me to get into that bed, and I couldn't use my arms. The nurses actually had to end up like lifting the sheet that was underneath me to like move me back so that I could get comfortable because I couldn't use my arms. And then they brought my food in, and I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and some applesauce, and yeah, it was nice once we were finally in my permanent room for the night, because I was just like so anxious about that all day. I mean, we were in that temporary room for like 5 hours. Like, I just wanted to be in my permanent room for the night so that I could get comfortable and not have to worry about that stuff. The nurse came in and she got me ready for bed and everything, and like dimmed the lights and whatnot, and told me that she would be back in around midnight to take my catheter out. I just kind of, you know, spent time relaxing and everything, and then at midnight the nurse came in and took my catheter out, and then at 3 a.m. the nurse came in again because I had to go to the bathroom, and she helped me go to the bathroom, and then she also took off the patch that was behind my ear, and then I had this patch that was on my inner thigh that like held the catheter tube, and it was like, I mean, it was a pretty big patch. Like, it was a pretty big patch, and it was stuck on there like really good, and that hurt so bad. I felt like she was ripping the skin off my body. That fucking hurt. Like, I wanted to like rip this lady's head off. I was like, listen, don't touch it. I don't want you to even take it off. Like, I'd rather keep it on for the rest of my life than have you try to rip that off again. And also, when I got up to go to the bathroom at 3 a.m., the lady took the leg things off of me, and she's like, I think we can leave these off now. And I was like, yes, I was so happy. I was so relieved. It was just, I was so happy. Thank God. Like, the worst part, for sure. Like, I hated those. Those were so annoying. I went back to sleep for a couple hours, and I woke up around 5:30 and paged the nurse to tell her that I was ready to get ready to be discharged. So she helped me get up and get dressed and go to the bathroom, and my mom pulled the car around to the parking garage up to the door, and I got wheeled out to the car. Went back to the hotel. Slept for a couple of hours. Luckily, I didn't have to mess with drains like at all, because I had drains, but the nurses took care of them when I was in the hospital, and then I had my post-op appointment with Dr. King at 12 o'clock the next day. So there wasn't much drainage from the time that I got discharged until the time that I had my post-op appointment that day. So I got my drains out at that point. I think that was a huge relief to my mom that we didn't have to mess with drains, but yeah, it was really nice to get those out. It was so much more comfortable once I got them out. So we got my dressings changed and got to see my chest, and I was really happy, but I was super swollen. I was so exhausted from how much energy that took to go to that appointment and everything that I got back to the hotel and I passed out for like 5 hours. Definitely my worst pain was 2 days post-op and then 3 days post-op. Those were the like definite worst days. I remember at one point I woke up and I was just crying because I was like in so much pain and so uncomfortable, but I was trying to get off of the prescription pain medication by like 3 days post-op, so I was like, I don't want to take them, and my mom's like, you're gonna take them. I'm like, I don't want to take them. I took them. And then I don't think I took them again after that point, just like taking ibuprofen and stuff. We finally left Madison on Friday the 27th and got to go home, and then my dad took over taking care of me from there. At the point that I got home, I was like super constipated, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable, I want to die. Like 4 days post-op, I want to say, I sent my dad to go get like 2 different things from the store. I had been taking an over-the-counter like stool softener, but it wasn't really doing much. So I sent him to get a couple things that my surgeon had on a list for his like constipation protocol. Let me tell you, if you don't take a shit for 4 days, you're gonna be really uncomfortable, especially if you're swollen on top and then you're super bloated down below. It's just not very comfortable. So yeah, milk of magnesium did the trick though, and I didn't have to worry about the other thing that we bought. On Monday the 30th, my mom and I went back to see Dr. King, and he took the bolsters off of my nipples, but he did leave some of the stitches in my nipples just because he didn't want to like take them out too soon. So he left those in and just told me to put Vaseline on my nipples twice a day. And I was doing that, and then we would see him a week later to get the rest of the stitches out. And at that point, I was also able to stop like wearing the binder, which was really nice. But I also felt kind of like weird not wearing it because it almost felt like my protection. And I didn't want to like stop wearing it, honestly, because I felt so vulnerable without it on. Like I felt like that was my shield, and I didn't want to like take it off because I felt very exposed, I guess. Between the time that I got my bolsters off until the time that I got my stitches out the following Monday, I guess I just really have to say that the only thing that really sucked is I could feel like the stitches poking against my shirt, and like my skin was super sensitive at that point, and it was super uncomfortable to like wear a shirt in general. I had so much swelling, and like it made my chest feel really tight. A nurse at the hospital gave me like this device that like kind of tricks your body into breathing like deeply, I guess, and like motivates you to want to breathe more. And so they gave me that for when my chest felt really tight, which was nice because it did get me like into better breathing habits. I'm still dealing like with some swelling, but it's definitely not as tight as it was. Also, the week between the time that I got my bolsters off and the time that I got my stitches out, I was experiencing a lot of anxiety because when I stopped wearing the binder, I had much more like time to examine my chest and like look at it and feel around and everything. I just kept telling myself that there was something wrong, when in reality, when I went back to see Dr. King the following week on February 6th, I mean, he said everything looked beautiful and that my healing seemed to be going really well, and he didn't have any concerns about it. It was really difficult, and I didn't really have anybody to talk to that would be able to give me kind of like peace of mind, I suppose. I felt a lot better after I saw Dr. King again on the 6th and got my stitches out. The day that I got my stitches out, I also got the glue off of my incisions, which was really nice because I felt a lot less pressure on my like incision. That was my best day since my surgery, and since then I've just continued to have like good days. I think that my biggest problem between then and now is just trying to cope, I guess, with the fact that I'm not really able to do much outside of my house other than like doctor's appointments and like brief errands. My dad is getting his car fixed, so once that's fixed, then I think I should be able to drive on my own again and actually get out to do stuff. But it has been difficult for the past week just trying to like be okay with not being able to leave my house, and that's been basically the most difficult part like in the past week. As far as pain goes though, and like discomfort, it really hasn't been that bad. Like I'll take like an ibuprofen here or there, and then I'll take like a Benadryl at night just because I do get like super itchy. I see Dr. King again on the 27th, and I think at that point he'll probably give me the go-ahead to go back to work, because at that point I should be like 5 weeks post-op, I believe. I'm feeling really good about my surgery and everything up until this point, and honestly I couldn't have been happier with my results and with like the surgeon that I chose. Dr. King really knows his stuff, and he has an awesome staff, and they're so nice and so accommodating. Seeing how surgery has changed my life already like makes me really excited about how much easier things are going to be in the future once I'm back to like my full capacity, I guess. Honestly, every day it's easier and easier to wake up. I honestly didn't think that I would make it to see this day, and I just feel incredibly at peace with where my life is, and I know that things are only going to get better as my recovery progresses and as things get back to normal. I knew that having the surgery would change my life, but I never could have anticipated that it would change it and improve it in as many ways that it has, and I'm just so grateful and humbled by how much love and support I've been shown through all of this. So many people shared my links and shared my donation page, or donated or bought prints from me, or just shared my story and believed in me and gave me the encouragement that I needed to keep going. I wouldn't have been able to get to this point without you, so thank you so much. And all of the messages, God, I got hundreds of messages from people just showing their genuine support and their love for me. I could honestly go on for hours talking about how incredible this surgery has been for me and how much love that I've been shown, but this video is long enough as it is. I apologize. I feel very at peace with myself and where my life is and where my life will be able to go from here. If you have any questions about my surgery, feel free to ask them down below, and I will try to answer as many as I can. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, eating enough carbs, all that good stuff. I just hope that you're taking care of yourself, and yeah, I care about you so much, and I want you to be the best you that you can be, so have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.